It's a time for package from China. It's a time for a package from China, but we're going to enter the Pandora Jungle. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video, it's time to do an unboxing and we're going to make a review about the Pandora Games 3D, the Plus Edition. I'm very curious what we're going to get, and that's something we're going to find out. So inside box, we're going to get the system itself, 2 controllers, the on and off switch, what is very strange by the way, because they did use the jumper over here, so we don't need the power switch. If you want to, you can use it, and we're going to get the 12-volt power supply. And of course, we are going to get the PlayStation 2 rip-off controller. And I can tell you that, oh man, this thing feels quite cheap like all the previous models. On and off switch, basic touch, the D-pad feels decent. But if you're looking at the shoulder buttons, and not to forget, and the most important thing, let's smell it. Oh man, this thing smells, smells chemical. Alright, so at the back we're going to get the 2 batteries over here, AAA, just with basic all of these things. So far I know there is none of them have a built-in, let's say, lithium ion pack, nothing. How are they going to play? Let's find out. Okay, so let's talk about the system. So basically what they are doing, giving us this casing in combination with the same mainboard that comes in the Pandora box itself. As you can see, we're having the EDA connector, so what you can do, you can build this casing inside an arcade one-up, or well, not say in every Pandora box system, but you can do so. We're having a Wi-Fi connection for the Naughty Store, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later. Here we're having the connections, just a basic connection like USB connections. One of them you can use it with a controller, so basically you can play with 4 players. We're having the settings button, volume control, jack out, VGA, HDMI, and of course input for the power supply. Okay, over here we can find the SD card. They use this, let's say, blob over here for put it in a fixed position. It is highly possible that if you're having problems with the SD card, it is not fitting correctly. I did notice this in the past with the previous models, that out of the blue my games just disappeared. And what do you think? The SD card was not in the right position. Here at the left top corner we're having the all list, categories, recent, and the search option. This is just similar like with all the previous models, and also with the Pandora Key 7 new edition. We're having the recent list where we can see what kind of game we have played before. The list will be wiped out after a couple of titles, and of course we're having the search option, and that is what we're really going to need, because it's just one big nightmare when it comes to searching games through the one big gigantic list. When powering on, this is the menu that you're going to get, and for the people who are familiar with the Pandora family or the Pandora Jungle, yep, you can see that the menu is exactly the same like the previous model, the Pandora Game 3D. So in the end they are calling this the Pandora Game 3D Plus. And I'm guessing, I will going to do a teardown later on this video, that it will be the same specifications. So in the end we're going to get the same performance. But okay, let's talk about the menu. What are we going to get with this for the people who are new to the product? But let's take a close look at the settings menu, and sadly they didn't change out a lot over here. And no, we don't have aspect ratio with the original software. As you can see, we're in the EO tester and all the similar things with the previous models. Gamepad settings, where we can change out which joystick will be for what. Gamepad utility wizard, but this is something we don't going to use. We're having the coin settings, that is only usable when you're going to put this mainboard in an arcade machine. And the image optimization. And we're only having the HD and the scanline filter. Last up we're having the Wi-Fi, and of course that was special with this new version because previous model didn't have the Wi-Fi. Now we're having also the Naughty Store that we can use through the Wi-Fi, where you can download games. Yep, and that is pretty damn naughty. So I call this the Naughty Store. What I also like is the turbo fire or the turbo button. That is very convenient for shmups, and don't use the factory data reset because you will wipe out your SD card. So the first test that we're going to do on the Pandora Game 3D Plus is Mortal Kombat 1. It's basically one of the, let's say, harder games to run. I know there is no killer instinct, but as you can see that the loading time is quite long for this game. So the quick load, quick save menu is not possible for every game you play. By the way, I cannot even get into the menu with the controller itself. So that is an issue that can only be resolved when using the EDA connector or there is something wrong with the controller and get myself a different controller that do work with the menu, because there is no way getting it to work.
Sub-Zero.
Zombie Wobby! Let's get some Mortal Kombat spanking! Yeah! Fight! Fight! Gotcha!
Sub-Zero win.
お前か。
Round one. Fight.
There is a big sound delay in this game, or it is just me. Yep.
Get ready, fight!
Alright, so now it's time to do the teardown. I'm very curious what are we going to get. So the housing can be removed very simply by 4 parkers that you need to remove here at the bottom. Alright, so I've removed the 4 parkers. You need to be very gentle because the antenna is basically stuck on the top. So that's not a good thing. Okay, you can remove it very easily by your fingernails. Flip it open. Okie dokie. Ooh, it's very hard because, not because it's very hot, but it's very hot because I just run it for a couple of hours. But for the hours that I've run, it is cooling very well because it's not that I'm burning my fingers on it. Alright, so let's move the fan. This is just a basic metal fan they were going to get with the previous models. I did see that they used some copper versions in the past, but sadly they're not using them anymore. I think it's more like a cost-effective thing. As you can see here, we have the jumper. You can remove this one with an on-off switch if you want to. Okay, so they are using an AM Logic S812B, and for people familiar with the chipset, this is the exactly same chipset they are using with the previous models, just on Pandora Game 3D, and there are some other versions too, and the same goes for the RAM modules over there. So sadly, it's a new revision board with just new software on it, or better said, a new label. So that's all, folks. Pandora Game 3D Plus is just basically a software update. I think it's more like putting a new label on it, and that's it. Okay guys, I want to thank you for watching, consider subscribing, hit the little bell, and I will see you in the next video.